The district attorney of silence and hatred, Sandra Doorley. My name is Chris Chichester. I've never committed a crime. How am I delivered to Monroe County Jail first and Livingston County Jail second when the prosecutor doesn't talk? First before 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr., next before Paula Metzler. How does that explain to the United States Department of Justice, the district attorney of silence and hatred? Your two assistant district attorneys are silent in Penfield Town Court, and I'm demanding an explanation from you, Sandra Doorley, and you're silent, and you're consumed by hatred, because it doesn't matter to you. That's this fanatic, degenerate, sociopath Todd Baxter, and the fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths that work for him are concocting crimes for me. What's happened to me should never happen to anyone in the United States of America. You can walk through this parking lot without being arrested, Sandra Doorley. Why is that? Are you, as King of New York, #1, Sandra Doorley, different than me? Do you have a different 14th Amendment right than I do? Why can you, Sandra Doorley, walk through this parking lot without being arrested? Why can every employee at the district attorney's office walk through this parking lot without being arrested? How's that explained? How is it explained that this is not a crime? I walk outside one day, tell a guy in Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care, from Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care, that nobody owns that land. I stand right here and walk back to my residence. How's that a crime, Sandra Doorley? How's that a crime, Perry Douglas? That's not a crime. That's why it can't be explained. This is the lunatic fringe. Here's this guy, Steve Desmond of Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care. He's been told by Shannon Meyer, Todd Baxter's $67,000 hate-consumed train wreck, call me. And I'm going to be here with 5 other of my fanatics to get him to come out of the house. This is what they're doing in Monroe County. This is what you have to work with, you pathetic diva. And it doesn't matter to you. That's why you're a pathetic diva. And that's why you're consumed by hatred and malevolence. It does not even matter to you that I'm standing on my front lawn in handcuffs just for going outside and telling a guy in his tractor that nobody owns this land. They're planning to do this to me. Isn't that right, Elliot Roth? Because the district attorney of hatred, I'm walking through the park lot one day, and this guy, Ellie Roth, who works at this business at 2025 Penfield Road, says to me, you're going to be arrested. Isn't that right, Elliot? Because you know that Sheriff Todd Baxter came and put what, Elliot? This camera on that building. Because I was on it. This is the sick lunatic fringe. That's it. That's your surveillance device. You bald-headed party-switching stooge, Todd Baxter. And you bought it. How's that a crime, Sandra Doorley? I'll wait, and I'll wait forever, because that's not a crime. How's that a crime, Sandra Doorley? I go to this gym called PW Fitness, and at the back of the gym, I walk on the bench press. I'm about to do the third set of 10, and up walks to me the client for Jessica Wagner at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. He goes like that. I tell him I'll be 30 seconds. He stands over me, he punches down, my head snaps back. Now, Madam District Attorney, has my head snapped back by Jermaine Benman, and I don't know if he has a prior criminal record. I've been trying to obtain that information. Who am I harassing, Madam District Attorney? After my head is snapped back at the gym called PW Fitness, which is out of business now. Who am I harassing after my head is snapped back? He walks away from me. I did not respond by attacking him and starting a fight, which is what I should have done, because that's going to prevent Andrew Reale from arriving. And Andrew Reale is going to arrive. And he knows my identity, and he's going to concoct another crime for me. This is what they're doing at the sheriff's office. I just am astounded you have to work with these degenerates on a daily basis that don't even know what constitutes a criminal act. So, Andrew Reale arrives, paid $79,000 to do what he's going to do to me. Tells me to sit in the back seat of his vehicle, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, this is not going to be good for me. He's talking to Jermaine Benman because he told Jermaine Benman what to say. The 7 words to say. He walks Jermaine Benman around the side of the vehicle. Jermaine Benman says, I want to press charges against you. So, the district attorney of hatred, the district attorney of silence, the district attorney of Monroe County, Sandra Doorley. I'm charged with harassment second. The district attorney of hatred and silence. What's the name of the human being I'm harassing? Perry Douglas. Who am I harassing? Do you know at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley and Perry Douglas, that I have not committed a crime? Do you know this is a fact? Do you know your prosecutor didn't talk in court? So, You, Perry Duckles, are paid $129,525 to refuse to answer. Which one of these employees, this is 3 pages, I'm only going to hold up the first page. Which one of the employees didn't talk in Penfield Town Court? What's her name? See, public proceeding, you're refusing to tell me her name. It's an absolute and total disgrace. Do you know what you are at the district attorney's office? Do you know what you represent? You represent indifference, fanaticism, criminality, and malevolence. Someone on this list, if they're still employed, stood in Penfield Town Court for my appearance before John P. Lomenzo Jr. didn't talk. And since I'm on YouTube, they're going to concoct another crime for me. On August 30th, I came outside my residence and walked along these trees. 2 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees ran from the private property of my neighbor. They're running at me. They run across Sanders Farm Drive. I turn around and run away, run up my back porch. One of these Jonestown Baxter fanatics grabbed my arm. The hammer I just grabbed alongside of my residence, I used to fix my bike. Goes up, I pull away, I run through the sliding glass door, and this is seen on the body camera. Send me that body camera footage, you bald-headed criminal, Todd Baxter. Have you seen this body camera, you bald-headed criminal? Because I'm not committing a crime. He grabbed my arm. What are their names? This is the other thing. There's no accountability for you. What are the names of your employees? What's the name of your employee who said I swung a hammer at him? I've never swung a hammer at anybody. And pay attention, you bald-headed criminal. If I did swing a hammer, hypothetically, at someone, I'm coordinated. And I would connect. I would never engage in a violent act to swing a hammer at anyone. Liars at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? How do you exist at the district attorney's office with bankrupt, vacuous people that Todd Baxter employs with taxpayer dollars? And I hesitate to even call them people. I really do. I have never encountered this type of indifferent behavior to what constitutes values and morality and decency, because there are no values and morality and decency at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. He says I swung a hammer on my back porch, and what are they doing here? They're here for me. They're stalking me. That's not an exaggeration. They are outside walking around waiting for me. Your employees, Jonestown Todd Baxter, are stalking me outside waiting for me. That's the term. That's not hyperbole. I strive to use language with precision. Your employees are outside stalking me, Todd Baxter. Nobody owns this land? That's it. How does anybody own this land? I've been in contact with these parasites, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, over and over and over. And they don't have the documentation. Why do you think this guy right here? He refused to sign for this. He returned it because they don't own that land. That's why. How does anybody own that land? You can see right here and look at it. If they haven't been here for 7 years, then nobody owns that land. Did Shannon Meyer call the Office of Real Property at Monroe County and ask these parasites, Layla Kumar and Nairaj Shah, the documentation? There's 2 of my neighbors walking through the parking lot. Arrest my neighbors for walking through the parking lot, Todd Baxter. Because that's the accusatory instrument for me, you bald-headed criminal. That the defendant on the above date location of 1440 hours did not only enter or remain unlawfully in upon the premises 2041 Penfield by walking through the park line after being told by police and certified mail and he's not allowed on the property. By police, how come there's not a name? I didn't get anything by certified mail. The property is this parking lot that people walk through all day long. You should have arrested Penfield High School students walking through this parking lot after fireworks at Harris Whalen Park on June 30th, 2019. The band students. What would the mothers and fathers of Penfield High School think if you arrested a band student in his or her uniform for walking through his parking lot? Because you think, Todd the fascist stooge, that's a crime to walk through this parking lot. Fire Shannon Meyer, you bald-headed criminal. Fire Andrew Reale and fire Don Benedetto. You can save $85,000. Isn't that right, Don? Don, what are you doing here on August 30th? Hiding in the bushes. How ludicrous does that sound? Did you know how ludicrous you are, Don Benedetto, hiding in the bushes waiting for me? So, I adopted my dog from Lollipop Farm Humane Society in 2012. And he was with me for 7 years until he died on July 21st. And he has love in his heart. Tens of millions of people that own dogs, and they love their dogs. And here you are, I'm walking my dog one day the same way, 7 years and 4,000 times. These parasites, Neeraj and Randy Kumar Shawan, and one of their employees is screaming. It's an employee or one of them at me. I can't understand. They're screaming at me from over here. Look at that distance. An hour later, Jonestown Baxter is here to seize my little guy. How did the cops show up to the house of an innocent man and demand his dog? I'm waiting for you to pound on the door and scream like a bunch of fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths. Look at that YouTube I call hatred. You should be able to identify with hatred, Sandra Doorley, because you're the district attorney of hatred. The cops are coming to my house to demand my dog. When all I'm doing is walking in the same way. Do you know, Todd Baxter, the telephone exists? Do you know that people speak on the telephone and communicate? And that's the way to approach it? You want to come to my residence and acquire my dog because this is the perversion of the cops. You, Todd Baxter, are the perversion of the cops. You, Todd Baxter, are why Americans hate the cops. And you don't know it. Because you live in a delusional 1984. You do not know people hate the cops, and in Monroe County, people hate your cops, Todd Baxter. You, Todd Baxter, need to discipline yourself in a way you talk to the media. You should talk like a freak show. Here you are on New Year's Eve, because this story is from January 2nd. New Year's Eve revelers. So here you are on New Year's, and you're walking around in Rochester on New Year's with your fucking groupies. Walking around there, wallowing in narcissism, hoping people come up to you, hoping people recognize you. This is what you're doing. Because this story here, I Have a Passion for Jails, talks about how you're walking around there. Baxter didn't waste any time assuming the duties of his office as New Year's revelers celebrated ball drop in New York and the clock chime midnight. Baxter and Under Sheriff Corey Brown visited the Monroe County Jail, stopped its training facility range to qualify with the service weapons, then went on a New Year's Day patrol with deputies. You are such a nauseating, disgusting joke. A New Year's Eve patrol, you're calling the Democratic Chronicle and telling them about your New Year's Day patrol with $130,000 Corey Brown? You are such a joke. Did you know you're a nauseating joke, Todd Baxter? This is what you're doing? Walking around on New Year's with your groupies, demanding approval? Look at me, I'm Todd Baxter here on New Year's. I could be with the commoners. You do not know what you are. Because there's something radically wrong with you. Because you have been a pathetic cop your whole life. And you are in office because your predecessor was an accident of history, just like you. But he was an accident in history for 16 years. That's why you're in office. This guy could not function anymore, and you switch parties to do it. That's why. You're a party-switching, bald-headed fraud, and you'll say anything. You need to discipline yourself in your language and the way you speak. We had a staff meeting my first day here with 13 people sitting round table from the sheriff's office, 5 different bureaus, and I charge each one of them to have some kind of foot in the game. Some kind of foot in the game. What does that mean? It's just ludicrous the way you talk. You know, Todd, baby, do you want some diabetes foot cream here? Because there's some foot cream for you. You can tell your whack jobs, since you want them to have foot in the game, you use that cream. Think about just the court bureau. Obviously, a lot of people coming to court, either family members or people suffering from addiction, just having a drop-in center right in the court where family could go right next door to the courtroom, and there'd be a beautiful nonprofit right there that can help the families negotiate through the process of recovery, or if the person's addicted, they're looking for immediate treatment, they can be helped right there. The sheriff of intervention. Your job is to uphold enforced law, and you can't do that. That's why you're pandering here. This is pandering here. You want this Oprah Winfrey, get in touch with your feelings, vote. Do you understand me? You are such a joke. We will become more involved with the county and their initiatives in the Department of Health, and much more involved with law enforcement end of it, sharing data and sharing intel. I'm just astonished at how you think you're a drug counselor. A beautiful nonprofit right there that can help the families negotiate through this process of recovery. You know, you should have Barry Manilow sing Mandy the next time you use this nonsense quote here about a beautiful nonprofit. You know, maybe Barry could say, yesterday's a dream I faced the morning, the pain is calling. You know, you'd love that. So have Barry Manilow, sing for you when you're pandering here with this nonsense. This is incoherence from you. It is ludicrous the way you speak, the way you communicate. Your job is to uphold and enforce the law. You're not a drug counselor. I've already challenged my operations commander to identify an incident commander who will be responsible for the sheriff's office's response to opioids. That's why I said you're not a drug counsel. What is the sheriff's office response to opioids? So? Doesn't matter. You shouldn't have a sheriff's office response to opioids. Your job is to respond when called. It's not respond to opioids. I mean, you are such a nauseating, disgusting, vile, sick joke. The way you talk, the way you communicate, and you are deploying your taxpayer resources for things that you should not deploy your taxpayer resources to, such as an incident commander who will be responsible for the sheriff's office response to opioids. There should be no sheriff's office response to opioids. If people use drugs and commit crimes, then they are arrested and go through the process. People who do commit crimes, not innocent citizens you're putting screws to. We're going to establish a command post, and just like if there was another natural disaster or man-made disaster, which I think it is, again, total incoherence. Natural disaster, man-made disaster. Drugs is a choice people make of free will. It's not a natural disaster or man-made disaster. Using drugs is not a disaster in any way. People make up their own minds to use drugs. It's not a man-made disaster. I'm just astonished that you are in office. You are the Peter principle at work. If you could be elected sheriff of Monroe County, any buffoon, stooge, incompetent across the United States of America, from Montauk, New York to San Francisco, California, can be elected sheriff. Quote, we don't have anybody spearheading that now. And with the next 6 or 7 days, we'll be establishing a command post and putting some resources into it. Really. Putting some, at the command post, the guy that you're spearheading with, he could have some foot in the game. Do you understand? Todd, let's see here. It's February 1st, 7:13 p.m. Todd, I'm really concerned that you're letting another, 8 months pregnant a woman escape. A pregnant man escaped Monroe County Sheriff's deputy in Strong Memorial Hospital, back in custody. 3-hour chase began with a 19-year-old resident. Aaliyah Bird escaped from, quote, soft restraint in the Strong Memorial Maternity Ward. How did she escape? Who allowed her to escape? This is where there's no accountability for you bald-headed criminal. Who allowed Aaliyah Bird to escape? I'm demanding to know. She was in the custody of your taxpayer-subsidized Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, and then she's in a parking garage. What's the name of the taxpayer-supported employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office who allowed Aaliyah Burden to escape? One of them is right here, right? So one of these guys, what's his name? No accountability for you. Well, when I contact the United States Department of Justice and I write 1,000+ words on this, you're going to have to answer. Who the hell am I? I'm just a citizen and a voter and a taxpayer. But I'm trying to remove you from office. That's what I've been doing for 18 months. And I'm at the point where I'm going to contact the United States Department of Justice because you, Todd Baxter, cannot answer how it's a crime for me to walk outside and tell a guy in his tractor that nobody owns that land and walk back in my house, because that's not a crime. You, Todd Baxter, cannot answer how I'm harassing anyone at PW Fitness when my head is snapped back, because that's not a crime. You, Todd Baxter, cannot answer how you sent your fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths onto the private property of my neighbor. They ran at me, lied how I said I swung a hammer, because that's not a crime. I'm not committing a felony on my back porch, you Jonestown degenerate. You'll have to answer why you're showing up to my residence to take my little guy from me when all I'm doing is walking him the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times. You'll have to answer how you put this camera on this building at 2025 Penfield, also called a surveillance device, that concoct a crime for me and lie about it. You'll have to answer how Lee LaRocque is in here, paid $91,000 with her blue gloves with a document that says search warrant. That's not a search warrant that you, Paula Metzler, typed in Penfield Town Court. You'll have to answer how you sent Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia, and paid for a plane ticket, a hotel, and care and feeding of his dog Lola. You'll have to answer this disgusting photograph where you paid taxpayer dollars for a training exercise to take a photograph of your Monroe County Sheriff Office fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths underwater in a pool. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.